All right. Now we're doing subtraction with rational expressions. And again, we're going to start by factoring. By the way, I make my z's look like that so I don't get them confused with a2. Okay, plus 25 minus 10, so x minus 5, x minus 5. Now, a reminder on how to build your LCD. And if you need to see this more, if you need to discuss this with me, just come by. But basically, any factor that shows up twice, shows up in each denominator. So z minus 5, I guess I went to x's. Fix that. And z minus 5, we're going to put that factor in once. And the other two factors, anything left over, goes in again. I like this example because we actually have to write z minus 5 twice. We're going to write it the first time where it shows up in both denominators. Now let's throw that 2 out in front. And we're going to write it the second time because we have one of those left over. So each of these needs to be in a common denominator. When I look and I like seeing my LCD in factor form, it tells me exactly what I've got to multiply by. This denominator is just missing z times 5. Sorry, z minus 5. Now I've got to multiply the numerator by z minus 5 because I'm multiplying by a version of 1, which is the only thing I can get away with here. Now I'm going to put that in parentheses. We'll see why in a second. Okay, that negative is a little hard to see. The only thing that's missing here is the 2. Okay. Now I do my multiplications in the numerator. And what I do, now that I have a common denominator, I write just the denominator just once. All right, I got an error. That 2 is supposed to be a 3. Let's fix that. And this. Caught it just in time. Okay, let's write our denominator of 3. Z minus 5. I'm going to square it because I am not lazy. We're going to do our multiplication, our distribution in that first fraction, z squared minus 5z. I'm going to be really careful with the next one. I'm going to put a negative because I'm going to have to distribute that negative, and I can't distribute and multiply at the same time. If you can, go ahead and do it. So 3 times z minus 1 is 3z minus 3. And now we're going to distribute the negative and see if we can simplify the numerator. So z squared minus 5z minus 3z plus 3 all over 3 minus 5 squared. A little more room. In the numerator, I get z squared minus 8z plus 3 over 3 times z minus 5 squared. Now, that quadratic in the numerator is not factorable. So we're not going to bother factoring it. We're just going to leave it like it is. Even if it were factorable, it's not going to cancel either of my denominator factors. So I'm not even going to bother. Because with that plus 3 in the numerator and negative 5 as one of my factors, not ever going to work. Okay, let's do this one. This one is actually simpler than it looks. Because if you examine our denominator here, these are the same denominators, just off by a sign. So instead, on the right-hand side, instead of a negative 1, sorry, on the left-hand side, I've got a negative 1. On the right-hand side, I've got a positive. Left-hand side, I got a positive 2. Right-hand side, I've got a negative. So what we do in that case is we just factor a negative out. Just going to write that first fraction. So I factored out. I'm going to do this in painful steps here. I just want to see you to see that factoring out that negative, how it works. I'm not going to take those painful steps in the future, though. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move that negative to the numerator. I can move it. And it's going to make a difference on the math in the numerator. And I'm also going to put my denominator in the same form. All right. I'm going to right here. Simplifies what we're doing. We have the same numerator. And my, same denominator. My numerator is 6 minus 4, which is 2. That rational expression is not factorable, so we are done. Okay, I will see you on the next video.